to the national government with the responsibility of matters of health policy, concerned that according to the World Health Organization, WHO, mental and neurological disorders are common, and about 10% of the whole population suffer from at least one mental health disorder at any given time. Concerned that psychiatric units are only available in a few facilities in the country, and patients requiring psychiatric services have limited or no access to these facilities, acknowledging that access to healthcare facilities would lead to improved overall health, increased economic productivity, social equity, and improved quality of life for all. Now, therefore, this House urges the national government through the Ministry of Health to collaborate to develop a policy integrating mental health care services in all healthcare facilities in the country. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, now the opportunity goes to the Honorable Mishimboko. You may proceed, Member for Likoni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the Provincial Standing Order number 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation regarding the status on operationalization of Liwatoni Fishery Complex.
Honorable Speaker, the Liwatoni Fishery Complex located in Mombasa County was initially launched in 2018 and subsequently gazetted as the first fishing port in the country. This landmark project aimed to provide a centralized facility for storage and processing of fish, while also serving as a catalyst for harnessing the country's vast potential in the blue economy sector. Honorable Speaker, the project has faced numerous challenges that have resulted in significant delays to its completion. However, the construction works for the project were recently resumed in 2023 with a renewed focus and two-phase implementation plan. The first phase, originally scheduled for completion by December 2023, involved finalizing essential construction works to enable utilization by key stakeholders. The second phase aimed to engage key stakeholder farms with deep sea fishing capabilities and sophisticated equipment to utilize the facility. It is therefore a crucial project for creating job opportunities among other benefits to the people. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation on the following. 1, the status of progress of construction works at the Liwatoni Fishery Complex, including estimated completion date and timeline for operationalization. 2, an overview of key stakeholders, including the level and nature of engagement conducted to align the engagements with the broader strategic plan of the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. 3, the steps taken by the ministry to address regulatory and compliance issues, including any challenges encountered. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Likoni. Chairman, I can see you are in the House. The Honorable Kagogo.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Madam Chair, the Liwatoni Fish Port, it's a very important strategic facility for this country, especially the coastal people. And it has had many challenges. And I want to promise the Honorable Member Polikoni, Madam Chair, that I will bring answer in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, Chairman. 2 weeks for your answer, Honorable Mishimboko. Next is the Honorable Machua Waithaka, member for Kiambu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Request for statement regarding the status of Kirigiti Stadium. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture regarding the current status of the Kirigiti Stadium. Honorable Speaker, the Kirigiti Stadium is a crucial sports infrastructure project for the country, designated to host international events and provide a state-of-the-art facility for our athletes and youth. The construction of the 16,000-seat capacity stadium began in November 2020, with the government committing to upgrade it to international standards fit to host local and international matches and events. However, it's deeply concerning that despite being declared 90% complete a year ago, the project remains unfinished and non-operational. The prolonged delays have significantly impacted the development of the sports in the region. Currently, the stadium is only being used as a venue for national holiday celebrations by the county government, falling short of its intended purpose. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture on the following. 1, a report on the current status of construction of the Kirigiti Stadium, including specific timelines for when it will be complete and open to the public. 2, the total amount budgeted for full completion of the stadium versus how much has been spent against the works undertaken so far. And 3, reasons for the delay in completion of the stadium and steps the government is taking to ensure its full operationalization. Madam Speaker, I would like to also add that the stadium today on the eastern side is being used by the contractor who is still on site as a construction site. The area residents have also started using it as a dumping site. 3, the drainage around the stadium is in pathetic state, and the residents of Kirigiti around the stadium have been complaining about the drainage because the water, when it rains, drains back to the residents of Kirigiti. So these are issues that are affecting the environment around Kirigiti Stadium, and I think that these issues should be looked into, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair, Committee on Sports. Any member of that committee? Minority Leader, this then goes to you. Majority Leader, this goes to you.
Honorable Speaker, I will definitely inform the chairperson. Thank you.
Okay. Next order.
Order number 11, the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024. Resumption of debate.
Honourable members, debate on this particular bill was ongoing, and I would need to know from the members who have put their cards here whether they want to contribute to this. Honourable Russell, you want to contribute to this? Go ahead. Allow him to have a couple of minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this. I rise to support this particular bill that has been presented by the Senate. I've also gone through the report that has been provided by our Parliamentary Budget Committee. And clearly, the observation therein has been occasioned by the austerity measures that have been caused by a standing down of the bill 2024-25. So it simply means there is a big hole in that particular budget, and this has caused the county allocation to be reviewed downwards from 46.6 to 61.9 billion. This indeed is a big hole. Honorable Speaker, when you look at the additional allocation to our counties, are monies that are provided by development partners from many areas: water, health, urban development, sanitation. And all these are very different facets that addresses the basic human necessities in those counties. But also, the government does what you call matching fund. These monies, from my understanding, although they are allocated to the counties, the National Assembly or the Senate does not have a clear purview of how these funds are utilized, how they are oversighted. Is it directly from the ministry or directly from the department or institution that gives the money? Who indeed oversees this fund? Because it doesn't form the mainstream part of the budget allocation to the county. For that reason, I think going forward, we as the National Assembly, we must protect the national coffers, and we must make sure that funding to the counties is timely, it is efficient, but also those funds must be efficiently utilized from those counties. Although it is the Senate that oversees the counties, but the people who live in those counties live in constituencies. And those are people, and it must be of concern to us. Article 95, Sub-Article 1, matters of concern to the people. Honorable Speaker, some of the areas that I see the committee has recommended is to decline things like transfer of museum functions from the national government to the counties. One of the difficulties we are seeing is the human capital that obtained in our counties, where a lot of technical issues fail to be done and funds are allocated. And when you are giving things like museums, where you need the curators, the researchers, scientists of different levels of expertise will look after museum. So if we just say because of funding, let us give this function to the counties, then we may be killing the goose that lays the golden egg. Because around the world, a major tourist attraction, a major contributor on the side of tourism fund is museums. So for that reason, I support what the committee has advised in terms of museums. Secondly, it is the issue of county aggregation and industrial parks. Vision 2030 envisions that Kenya will be a middle-income country, industrialized. So having industrial park in counties, although we cannot do all of them in one hog is really important. But when you look at the allocation of 105 million to the different counties, it simply means we are chipping slowly to give these counties edge. But I would rather, in my submission, let us say, for example, we establish the industrial parks in Isiolo first. Then we go to the next county, the next year, part 1 financial year. So that these industrial parks, if you don't put in enough money, eventually they'll just be white elephant. Funds have been put, there isn't enough fund to complete it. And also counties may not have enough funding for this particular project. Finally, Honorable Speaker, it is the issue of community health promoters. This is the first line of community health workers of preventive rather than curative. These are some of the initiatives that we have borrowed from other jurisdictions or other countries. And a good example is Cuba, where the community health promoters are the ones that have a clear view on what are the sort of common elements in the communities, and it is dealt with first line through health, through improving water, through improving health checks. By the time the individual goes for curative, then it simply means that the first line has not worked. And it has been seen that Cuba health system is very well organized, and it is among the best in the world. So for that reason, we must look at financial allocation to the community health promoters. Most probably, with the chipping of allocation to this particular area, then it means we may downsize a lot of youngsters who are working in this area. It is something that we must remain seized so that communities are really not disadvantaged to a great extent. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support.
Thank you. Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Although I was of the opinion that maybe we call the mover to reply, because I can see we have a committee of the whole House on the same, and I can make my contributions during the committee of the whole House. So I would... Yes, yes.
This is your chance to reply to the debate on the bill.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I arise to reply to the County Government Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to appreciate all the members who have contributed to this bill, because this is a very important bill that seeks to give additional conditional allocations to our counties to enhance services and provision of the very basic and important services to our people. Honorable Speaker, this is a Senate bill that was originated by the Senate, and we know that the Senate prosecuted this bill based on the approved estimates at that time, and therefore, as a result of a number of variations that have happened that gave birth to supplementary budget 1, it's therefore important that this House aligns the county additional allocations bill to the supplementary estimates, considering the variations that have been made. And as a result of that, therefore, we know that there are some changes that have been occasioned, and the case in point is the county aggregation, allocation to county aggregation and industrial parks, where we're seeing that there is a reduction of 1.6, and this is as a result of we had to drop a number of counties that were onboarded so that we complete the ongoing 18 counties, Honorable Speaker. And also I know members have spoken to the community health promoters. Also, when we come to that allocation, we also note that there is a slight reduction from the 3.2 that had been approved to 2.5 billion in the supplementary, registering a decrease of 651 million. Honorable Speaker, that is also a very important allocation, and I want to believe that county governments will have to be innovative and find a way to fill the gaps so that none of the community promoters are actually dropped from the payroll. Honorable Speaker, having said this, I just want to mention that the funds that are being allocated to counties as additional conditional grants, some of this money is from the development partners, from loans and grants, and some of this money is from the national government's share of revenue. And therefore, I want to call upon our county governments. I know that from the development partner monies that we've received, that is in the form of loans and grants, some of this money will be going as grants for healthcare services. We know the challenges in our hospitals. Some hospitals still lack very basic equipment, and therefore, this money from Danida, I want to plead with the county government to ensure that there is efficiency and accountability in the utilization of this money, so that Kenyans can feel, Kenyans can see that there is value for money. There will be allocations towards agricultural value chains. There is allocation towards devolution support. There is even money towards urban support for informal settlements, among others. County governments and all the oversight institutions, we need to make sure there is proper monitoring and evaluation to ensure that there is success in implementation of these monies, so that we can be able to say, yes, this money was received. There is even monies that is supposed to go towards the urban support in terms of even doing our roads, tarmacking our towns within the counties. Let this money be put into proper use so that we can be able to see that this money has gone towards providing basic services and helping Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to reply. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, I therefore then put the question that the county government's additional elections bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, be now read a second time. Will, as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Next order. Order, don't Rebonyekalan et al. Order.
The County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, a bill for an act of parliament to provide the additional allocations to county governments for the 2024-2025 financial year, the responsibilities of national government and county governments pursuant to such allocations and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 12, Committee of the Whole House.
Order members, we are in the Committee of the Whole House. We will proceed with the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023, from clause 49.
Clause 49.
Chairman, you can see you're in the House, Honorable Mutunga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, clause 49, I propose that we adopt the clause 49 as proposed in the order paper, which is basically to correct some typographic error.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 49 be part of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, clause 49, just the proposal from the committee corrects the spelling of the name Gossypium species. It's written as Gossypium APP. It's supposed to be SPP. That is the only correction, so it's typographical.
Thank you. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 49 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 49 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 49 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 50, 51, 52, 53, and 54.
Honorable members, there be no amendments. I propose the question that clause 50, 51, 52, 53, and 54 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 50, 51, 52, 53, and 54 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 55.
I propose the question that clause 55 be part of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, clause 55 as wrongful reference of the authority instead of the board. So we substitute the word authority with the board as specified in the order paper. That is the committee's recommendation.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 55 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Any interest in this, please go to intervention. There be no interest. I propose the question that clause 55 as amended be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 55 as amended, as proposed, be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 55 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 56.
I propose the question that clause 56 be part of the bill. Chairman. There is no amendment, honorable member, so I put the question that clause 56 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New Part 5A. New Clause 43A.
Mover, Honorable Mutuse. Is Honorable Mutuse in the house? To move the second reading, this is a new clause. Honorable Mutuse, make your way in. You may proceed to move second reading of clause 43.
Madam Speaker, I move that clause 39 be read a second time.
It's clause 43A. It's a new clause.
Madam Chair, I move that the new clause 43A be read a second time.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 43A be now read a second time. Any interest in this, Chairman? So, Honorable Mutuse, we would like to give you time so that you tell the House what this clause 43 is all about. Honorable Mutuse.
Madam Chair, the new clause 43A was intended to establish the Cotton Arbitration Tribunal that will be able to sort out disputes arising within the cotton sector. However, after consultations with the chair of the Agriculture Committee, we agreed to drop it because there is a new move to consolidate all the tribunals and bring them under one armpit, under one law, which is now pending before Parliament. And for that reason, I am persuaded to drop the amendment that I had proposed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mutuse, I would like to ask whether it is the whole new part, that is from 43A all the way to 43H. Do you drop all that?
Yes, we are dropping the entire 43A to 43H that speaks to the matter of the Cotton Arbitration Tribunal.
Thank you. Honorable Dawood?
Is Honorable Mutuse as well dropping the third schedule, the new schedule, which is the provisions of meetings and procedure for the tribunal? Because if 43A to H is not there, then the next one as well, it should be dropped as well. You should confirm.
We will get there, Honorable Dawood.
First schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be part of the bill. Chairman?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the committee proposes to amend the first schedule by reducing the number of meetings for the board to 4 instead of 10 as it is stated in the bill. Also providing that 4 months shall not lapse before a meeting takes place, as it is indicated 2 months, and then that the board meetings will be within the country, restricts the board meetings to the country, and finally, also amend the penalty, which appears to be very high as captured in the order paper.
Thank you, Chairman. I propose the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Chairman. Any interest? I now put the question that the first schedule as amended be amended as proposed by the Chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the first schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New schedule.
New schedule. Honorable Mutuse, you may now proceed.
Madam Chair, I move that clause 39 be recommitted. Oh, okay, sorry. My mind was engaged in something different. As you realize, and from Honorable Dawood's comment earlier, the schedule, third schedule, speaks to the amendment that we are proposing under the new clause 43A, and without clause 43A it would be hanging, and therefore we move that it also be dropped.
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Mutuse. I think we now go back to the question which was raised by the Honorable Dawood. Are you dropping this one as well?
Yes, we are dropping, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairman?
Madam Chair, we propose some definitions. Some ones have been used in the bill, but they have not been defined. And also, marketers play a pivotal role in the industry. It's therefore important to include the definition for the marketers. So I propose that we adopt the committee recommendations on the definitions as captured in the order paper.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by Chairman. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 be as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Long title.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the long title be part of the bill. I propose the question that the long title be the title of the bill. Chairman?
Honorable Chair, the long title as captured in the bill misses the function of regulation. So the committee proposes that the function of regulation is integrated in the title, and therefore the amendment as captured in the order paper.
Thank you, honorable members. I propose the question that the long title as amended be amended as proposed by the chairman. I don't see interest in this, so I now put the question that the long title be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the long title as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover? We'll come later to 39.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do agree to the House its consideration I'll take this again, honorable members. Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023, and its approval with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, we have another bill to consider. Honorable members, we are now considering the county allocation, the county government's allocation, additional allocation bill. We are now considering the county government's additional allocation bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 4.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. That clause 5 of the bill be amended in section A in subclause 1 by Roman 1, deleting the words column F appearing in the opening statement and substituting therefore the words column D. Honorable Chair, the import of this is just to substitute the columns, because in the original approved estimates columns, the totals were in column F, but now we are bringing to column D because there are some columns that are being deleted. The next one, Roman 2, deleting paragraph A on the allocation to county headquarters. Column A, Honorable Chair, was on conditional allocations for the construction of county headquarters as set in column B. That is no longer there, so that column is being deleted. Roman 3 is deleting the words column C appearing in paragraph B and substituting therefore the words column B. This is on county aggregation to ensure completion of the ongoing projects. Then Roman 4 is deleting the words column D appearing in paragraph C and substituting therefore the words column C. That is for the community health promoters. Again, this is all in rearranging, to rearrange the columns, to remove those that have been deleted and replacing with the new columns. Then number 5 is deleting paragraph D. That's the transfer to museums service. That has also gone, so that is being deleted. Then number B is by deleting subclause 2. And this is on RMLF, and it is because that allocation is no longer there, so that goes. And number C is by deleting subclause 3, and this is on court fines and royalties from minerals. And that has been explained even in the debate, that these funds cannot be transferred because there's no established framework right now to allow for the transfer of money from the consolidated fund. So those are the amendments. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Vice Chair. Any interest in this? If you have interest in this, please hit the intervention button. The Honorable Rahim Dawood, member for North Imenti.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I join the committee in the changes which is done, although I would have appreciated if they could have had a look at the community health promoters, where they have done a reduction of over 700 million, which would have gone a long way, because now whatever has been allocated is only for 86,000 community health workers instead of the 107. But the good thing is they have removed the RMLF, which was about 10.5 billion, because that was what the constituencies normally do, and the counties we did not need this money. So, Madam Speaker, I support.
Thank you for your contribution, Honorable Dawood. Honorable members, I don't see any other interest in this, so I will now proceed to put the question. So I put the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Vice Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 6, 7, and 8.
I propose the question that clause 6, 7, and 8 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 6, 7, and 8 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
First schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be the schedule of the bill. Honorable Vice Chair, you have an amendment on this. Honorable Vice Chair, you are supposed to move. You may approach the table.
Honorable Chairperson, I move as indicated in the order paper that the bill be amended by deleting the first schedule and replacing therefore the following new schedule.
Thank you, honorable members. I propose the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Vice Chairperson. Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, member for Funyula.
Chair, probably as we make the amendments to that first schedule, could the Vice Chair probably explain to us the status of implementation of KIPE? Because I can see in quite a number of counties, a few, there's a standard amount of about 105 million, yet there was some budgeted allocations in the last financial year. With this in order, we know what's the status of the implementation, because I think there are about 10 or so that as we continue sinking money into this white elephant, it does not make it even more whiter than it currently is. Probably the Vice Chair can explain to us. I can see Busia, was in Gishu, several of them. When you go to the ground, Honorable Chair, as we always say, things are different. Mambo ni tofauti.
Honorable Chairperson, if you look at the first schedule, there is an indication in the figures given for the amounts that each county is going to benefit. And to inform the member, Busia County is getting 105, and previously it had received 62.5 million. Percentage of completion.
Order, Vice Chair. You know, you have asked the Vice Chair a very important question. So please, I wanted you to just be attentive to her. I do not want to say what you were doing when she was speaking. So please be attentive to the Vice Chair.
I was just informing the member by giving him an example of his own county, which is Busia County. There is an allocation of 105 million, and previously it received 62.5 million, and the percentage of completion or the level of progress on that particular aggregation project is at 25%. But for the rest of the other counties, we can actually get details in terms of progress. But for now, I can give figures for all the counties are receiving 105 million for all the 18, because we decided to complete the ongoing before onboarding new ones. But in the approved estimates, we had actually onboarded another 12 counties.
Thank you,
Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Emase. The Honorable Charles Ngusia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kitui County, actually, I can confirm things are going on. But I want to inquire from the Vice Chair budget. Are you sure the money you have already reported is already in supplementary budget we have just passed?
The Honorable Mwalio, member for Masinga.
Chair, I'm also concerned about the caves, because the level of development and the level of construction is wanting. You find that I know of account that have sunk 150 million only perimeter wall only, and they have not even started the construction of the real building. And you know that real building has got a lot of details, because I am prior to that, to the designs and what have you. The real work is inside, and especially the cooling systems that have got 20 cold rooms per caves on all the 5 go-downs. So if you sink 150 million on the perimeter wall only, what are you left with to be able to do the real construction and even equipment supply?
Vice Chair, just take notes. I want to give another a chance to the Honorable John Kiragu, member for Limuru. Looks like that mic is not working.
It's come to me. Can I contribute?
No, the chance still belongs to the Honorable Kiragu. We'll find a mic for him.
It's there.
We got it?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think my colleagues have already mentioned what I wanted to point out. But on this aggregation industrial parks, my major concern is, of course, having them completed and making sure that when completed, they will not be idle, that there will be an action plan to make sure that they get working. One of the biggest problems we may have is that sometimes we are not fair, we are not transparent as to how we engage the public. So, Madam Chair, we know that even markets around the country have been completed, and you find, though completed, they have not been actually been put into operation. So I support, but I pray that when we are doing these projects, that we have a parallel program to make sure that when completed, they will get into service as intended. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Oundo said he has heard about this county aggregation and industrial parks, but he has not seen anything. I welcome him to Meru to come and see the county aggregation which was launched by His Excellency the President, and it's working very well. But Madam Speaker, in future, the Budget Committee could even think, because if it is established in Meru County, it's in one constituency, it would be prudent if we can get in each and every constituency which can do a lot for the agriculture. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Agriculture.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, having aggregation centers and agri-food park centers is a great idea. But Honorable Speaker, sometimes we need to pause and ask ourselves, how much of analytical studies have we done to know what it is that we shall be aggregating, for what period of the year, and for what purpose? Honorable Speaker, we might be spending money to create white elephants across the country. What should precede any investment must be quantitative analysis of what it is that we are going to aggregate. We need to look at the supply chain management on where shall we be accruing these products, how shall they be conveyed to the aggregation centers, what kind of conditions do we have to establish at the aggregation centers themselves, because some of the products will need cold storage facilities. I do not know how much of the cold storage facilities we are installing. Honourable Speaker, across the country, if you drive across the country, you will find certain aggregation centers just waiting. The communities have not been adequately advised or appraised on these aggregation centers. So it is important for this House to take caution, not to just invest money for the sake of having infrastructure out there, but look at how do we collocate infrastructure with the functionality of that particular infrastructure. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Made your point, Chairman. I would like now the Vice Chair to make comments, and then we will proceed to put the question.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think with the concern that whether this money has been provided for, I want to assure the member that yes, it has been provided for in supplementary one, and a total of 1.9 billion. That is where we have 105 million going to each county. On the issue of oversight, members are concerned on the progress, whether there's anything happening in these counties. I can speak about my county because I know that it is at 25%. And I've just responded to Honorable Nguna that as the budget committee under our implementation and review process, we will be able to obtain, and we've even discussed about this as a committee, that we shall be visiting these projects in every county as an oversight committee in this House. And I think also in my reply to the motion, I said monitoring and evaluation is very critical, that all oversight institutions must play a role so that we ensure there is a successful implementation of these projects. And on the issue of preparedness, yes, it is also a concern. And even in the committee, we raised it up. In fact, some members were saying some of these aggregation centers have been built in very remote areas. But it is a good thing that they have been built in those remote areas so that we can take development down into those very remote areas. Water should be able to follow that aggregation center. Electricity, roads. So it's up to national government together with the county government to ensure that we have provided accessibility to these aggregation centers, and that the members of the public have been informed or engaged so that they begin to participate, to ensure that they are aware of what needs to be aggregated, to ensure that we establish the value chain.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to finish, Honorable Speaker, I think I want to leave there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, this is the committee of the whole House. I will discourage debate. And because she has made comments on the matters that you raised, I'll now proceed to propose the question. I propose the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Vice Chairperson. I now put the question. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the first schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. Mover? Honorable Emase? You may approach the table, Honorable Emase. Honorable Emase.
I move that the bill be amended by deleting the second schedule.
Thank you, honorable members. I propose the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by. Honorable members, I propose the question that the second schedule be deleted. What is the point of clarification? It's a deletion. So there is nothing to clarify.
Yeah, Chair, I
Honorable
totally
Oundo.
agree. There's nothing to clarify for those of us who are aware of the legislative making process. Is it possible that the Vice Chair can tell the people of Kenya what is it exactly is being deleted? Because they'll be interested to know what has been deleted, what is the second schedule and what is it being deleted for posterity reasons, so that when they tell, when you go outside then they ask, "Hiki tunaitwa second schedule ndio nini?" When you are deleting it, can you just tell us what it contains? It's very simple. As half a second should be done.
Vice Chairperson.
Thank you. What is being deleted in the second schedule is the original allocation that had been proposed to go to counties that were to benefit from the earlier allocations before the variations, so that now we can adopt the amended figures in the new schedule. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, as you may be aware, this is as a result of the fact that the finance bill did not pass. So let us proceed. I now put the question that the second schedule be deleted. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
The third schedule.
I propose the question that the third schedule be part of the bill. Vice Chairperson? It's a deletion also.
I move that the third schedule be deleted.
Thank you, Honorable Emase. Honorable members, I propose the question that the third schedule be deleted as proposed by the Vice Chair. I now put the question that the third schedule be deleted. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Fourth schedule.
I propose the question that the fourth schedule be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that the fourth schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I'd like now to call upon the mover to move reporting. Honorable Mary Emase.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the county government's additional allocations bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the county government additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, and its approval with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
We will start with the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023. Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you. The mover to move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Dawood to second.
Honorable Dawood appears not to be in the house, must have stepped. Oh, Honorable Dawood is somewhere at the rear. Honorable Dawood, second.
Honorable Speaker, I am very much in the house and I wish to second.
Yeah, honorable members, I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable Undo, you want to contribute? Yeah, thank you. Give Honorable Undo.
Speaker, I must take this opportunity to laud the Senate for bringing the bill into this House, and we hope the amendments we have done the Senate will concur so that we expeditiously complete this process. It has been a long period since the days of the Cotton Lint and Marketing Board, when cotton collapsed. We, the MPs from Busia, have done our very best to revive cotton growing. And as I say now, it's only Busia that already has a public-funded ginnery, and the second one is being funded in Pavi in Kwale. It's now time for the county government, together with the national government, to invest heavily in cotton growing so that we can expand and make sure textile and apparel become one of the key earners of dollars and becomes a key export. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, we really need to also look at how we manage the cotton cooperatives and the rest. That's a matter that we'll deal with as we prepare the National Cooperative Bill that will deal with quite a number of these issues. Finally, Honorable Speaker, those who are in charge of apparel and textile, we want to call upon them to expand their minds, to expand the level of thinking. Cotton is just only one of the raw material in the entire value chain of apparel and textile. We need to look for alternative sources of raw material so that our industry can become a composite industry to enable us deepen and ensure that we get more jobs created in that sector. With those few remarks, Chair, Honorable Speaker, thanks for my colleague Mary Emase for adopting and moving it here. I can take you to Luanda Dinner and buy a cup of tea over the weekend. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Wilberforce Oundo. Honorable members, for the convenience of the House, I will defer putting question to the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023, to the future, when it will next be scheduled by the House Business Committee, possibly in the afternoon or tomorrow. Could we have the chairperson on the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, to report to the House?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2023, and its approval. Honorable Speaker, I'll take this again. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, and approved the same with amendments. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
To move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, and also request Honorable Naomi Wako to second.
Deputy Majority Whip.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Does the Honorable Elsie Mwanda want to speak to this? There are very many requests, are there, of members seeking to speak to this? Or to the next order, eh? Yeah, again, honorable members, for the convenience of the House, putting of the question to the matter of the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, stands deferred to the future, when it will next be scheduled by the House Business Committee for consideration by the House. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, policy and funding for sugarcane farming in the country.
The mover was the Honorable Nabulindo. You had quite a number of minutes to go, so you will continue moving. Give the Honorable Oscar Nabulindo the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As you have rightly put, last week on Wednesday, I was moving this motion, but time caught up with us, and you informed me that I have 25 minutes to move the motion. But I will not utilize the entire 25 minutes because my colleagues are here and they have expressed interest in the motion, so I'll give them a little bit more time. Mr. Speaker, as I was saying when I was moving this motion, the purpose of this motion is actually to make sure that the farmer is well taken care of so that he can be able to produce sugarcane the way it's supposed to be. As I was saying last time, there has been efforts to revive the sugarcane industry over a long period of time. And so many stakeholders have been involved. So many people have been involved, including the government, the farmers, leaders, politicians, businessmen, and everybody else who is interested in the sugarcane industry. But the problem is we have always missed the point. We have always targeted the millers, and we have forgotten the farmer. And without the farmer being empowered, the sugarcane industry will always struggle to stand on its feet. Because the only engine that can drive the revival of the sugarcane industry is provision of adequate and quality raw materials. And that can only be provided by the farmers. Because the little land that was set aside as the nucleus estate cannot sustain the miller even for a week. The big percentage of raw materials that are taken to the milling factories come from the farmers. But the farmer has always been neglected. Initially, when the sugarcane industry was beginning in Kenya, that is in the 70s, there was a clear way in which farmers were empowered to produce the sugarcane. First, there were elaborate research done on the land, on the seed cane, and on the acreage that the farmer has that can be available for farming. And before the factories could be taken care of, the farmer was first taken care of. I remember very well, and it's very well in the history, that I'll give an example from Mias zone, where I come from, that at that time, after the registration of farmers, after establishing how much acreage the farmer is able to utilize, the then Buka company provided the farmer with inputs like tractors so that the land could be plowed. After plowing the land could be harrowed. Then the farmer will be provided with the quality seed cane. Then after provision of the quality seed cane, the farmer will be provided with fertilizer to do the planting of the seed cane. That enabled the farmer to start the process of sugarcane production. And that process did not stop there. After 6 to 8 months, the farmer was provided with fertilizer for top dressing. And there were extension services provided by the company or the miller at that time to educate the farmer on how to take care of his crop. Unfortunately, right now, such services are not there. The farmers have been left alone, and they are not able to know what to do because we have a new generation of farmers. They are not the old farmers that we used to know. So the new generation of farmers are not given any information on how to cultivate the sugarcane. Mr. Speaker, this lack of financial support to the farmer is the major reason why the sugarcane industry is not peaking at all. And therefore, this motion is intended to make sure that the government of Kenya and the investors who are investing in the milling factory of sugarcane, they put aside a special fund that will enable the farmer to get the necessary inputs to enable that farmer to produce the sugarcane that they so dearly want. Mr. Speaker, last week after I had started moving this motion, I received a lot of feedback, but 80% were positive feedback from the sugarcane farmers. But the 20% were questioning, why is it that every other time the leaders from Western Province are always talking about sugarcane farming? Why can't we do something else? That's what they told me. And my reply to that is that we cannot give up. We cannot do something else. Sugarcane farming is what we know. Sugarcane farming is what the people of Western, the people of Mumias, the people of Bungoma, the people of Kisumu, the people of Busia, and other areas know. This is what we know. And as the saying goes, Mr. Speaker, in our community, they say, if a child finds a mushroom in the field, that child will always go back to that spot in the hope that he will one day again pick a mushroom. The sugarcane industry was the backbone of the economy of the people of Western. This is our economy. We did everything from the sugarcane. And therefore, we have nostalgic memories. We have nostalgic memories about this. Most of us are here because of the sugarcane industry. I went to school because my grandfather and my father were able to pay my school fees through the sugarcane farming. But that is not possible right now because there is a big problem. Most farmers uprooted their cane. They uprooted their cane because there was no profit at all from the farming of sugarcane. And therefore, as leaders, we are always going to fight for the welfare of the farmer because we have established factories already there. So if someone suggests that we should stop sugarcane farming and do something else, what are we going to do with those factories that are already there? What are we going to do with them? Mumia's sugar is there. Nzoya's sugar. Nzoya sugar factory is there. Miwan is there. Son is there. So if we stop farming, sugarcane farming, where do we take all this facility? What do we do with them? So we are going to look for ways and means to make sure that sugarcane farming is again profitable to those people who used to profit from it. Mr. Speaker, the collapse of the sugar industry in the Western region led to numerous problems that sometimes we can't speak about them. The families that depended on this activity dived directly into abject poverty, and they have never been able to rise from it. Most families have now resorted to selling of that land because that's the only thing they have. That land can no longer be productive. So if they want to educate their children, they cut a piece of that land and they sell. In another year, they will sell again. Now, eventually, families do not have the land anymore. But the little that is there can be utilized. And we cannot bank on the large tracts of land that used to be there because they are no longer there. Due to increased population, families have divided the land. Therefore, the government needs to put elaborate frameworks in place to make sure that we have enough land for sugarcane production. And that can only happen if we engage the communities that used to do that. We engage the communities positively and try to make available land that is supposed to be used for sugarcane production. Mr. Speaker, we also need to set up an elaborate research center that can do research on sugarcane farming, sugarcane production, and sugarcane marketing, and anything concerning sugarcane. Of course, we have such institutions in place, but their findings do not reach the farmer. The farmer is still in a cocoon. He does not understand, what am I supposed to do next? It is very difficult for us to expect the farmer to be able to produce sugarcane the way they used to do, and yet there is no funding of any sort. Right now, farmers, all the sugarcane farmers, I can say all the sugarcane farmers, are not empowered at all. They are poor. So where do they get the capital to even buy the seed cane? Where do they get the capital to buy fertilizer, to prepare the land, to harvest the cane, and transport the cane to the factory? These are very expensive activities that when we leave it to the farmer, we are technically telling the farmer, stop farming. If we do not support the farmer, we are condemning that farmer to poverty for life. Mr. Speaker, therefore, this motion, the purpose of this motion is to look at the farmer, to finally look at the farmer. In the equation of sugarcane revival, in the equation of sugarcane industry revival, where is the farmer? That is the question that has been disturbing the minds of very many leaders in the Western Province. And now we need to put frameworks in place so that we look at the farmer with a critical eye, with the intent of empowering this person to produce good quality sugarcane that will enable the millers to stand. Mr. Speaker, lastly, even if we struggle to revive the sugarcane industry, if we don't look at issues that bring bad management to the millers, we shall not succeed. And the policies of the government are also not helping the farmers. For example, the COMESA protocol. According to me, the COMESA protocol is responsible for bringing down the sugarcane industry. Once we allow cheap imports to come in the country to compete with our high-quality sugarcane, then obviously the market forces will force the cheap imports to overwhelm our sugarcane industry. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I will stop there, and because my colleagues are here, I will ask my Vakoki, the Member of Parliament for Kabuchai, Mheshimiwa Kalasinga Majimbo, to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majimbo Kalasinga, second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This motion of the Honorable Vakoki, Mr. Speaker, is a Western term, and it means you are circumcised the same year. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, you know very well that Honorable Nabulindo and Honorable Majimbo Kalasinga, myself, were elected on the same date on a by-election. That's where it comes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the motion of Honorable Nabulindo puts a farmer.
What did you say happened to you with the mover in the same year?
Honorable Speaker, the reference he has put is onomatopoeia, Mr. Speaker. It puts us together in the same circle when we were elected and when we were circumcised. So the word Bakoki, Mr. Speaker, is a sweet word term used for a person you love most. Mr. Speaker, the motion that Honorable Nabulindo has put across here to this assembly puts a farmer as a central midfielder in this sugar industry, Mr. Speaker. We cannot, as a nation, Mr. Speaker, put much emphasis, serious emphasis on the millers alone. You know, Mr. Speaker, you know very well that a river that forgets its source is a river that will die soon. And the source of all the sugar industry is a farmer, Mr. Speaker. A farmer is the one who prepares the stabilization of a miller. Millers have nuclear estate, yes, but the percentage of cane produced by nuclear estates, the Speaker, is around only 7 to 10%. That does not run a factory. In fact, Mr. Speaker, much of the emphasis as we talk today in terms of the hybridization, you look at the Kenyan farmers, Mr. Speaker, currently are having cane. The cane was researched in the 80s. We need to lay much emphasis on early maturing, high pole content. And pole content, Mr. Speaker, is sucrose content. We must have cane with high succulency in terms of juice juice production, so that a little farm, a smaller farm, can produce cane with high productivity. This will only come, Mr. Speaker, if we invest much in the research for the sake of farmers. We do much of this genetic hybridization to bring in more better breeds that can mature very early. Mr. Speaker, we look at a country like Malaysia. They have cane that mature with 7 months. This will increase the output of a small farm. This will capture the maximization of the miller. And again, Mr. Speaker, this, if we do it, it will increase the profit of a farmer. Because the rate of stock, the rate of harvest will be more in a year. Mr. Speaker, if we look, we still live with the old breed that takes for 24 months for them to be mature. We are frustrating a farmer with this small. And you know, Mr. Speaker, people of Western, and I know you happen to come from the Assembly, Mr. Speaker, we have the best fertility in terms of production. Mr. Speaker, we are producing every day, population is increasing, and therefore the land is reducing. So we need to see how do we maximize the little farm that we have and produce more. So Speaker, also, if this motion go, and I want to thank the Honorable Nabulu, Mr. Speaker, because tillage of a farm, when we were growing up, Mr. Speaker, you could not plant cane if you have not plowed twice, first and second. And now, Mr. Speaker, the planting process, because it's left to a farmer alone, with less money, less support, Mr. Speaker, the planting is not as scientific as so required. Mr. Speaker, we have something called seed treatment. Cane seed treatment, Mr. Speaker, first, there are chemicals that must be used before you plant cane. It must be cut to a certain size, not more than 40 centimeters, treated well, and placed in the soil. So, Speaker, currently, we are planting without those controls because the farmer is left alone. So if this motion goes on, Mr. Speaker, I believe that the farmer is being given the midfielder in this game. A midfielder in a way that he will supply the best cane to the miller and himself have enough profit to run again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you also know that infrastructure is very key. Some of the farms and farmers are in the swampy areas, Mr. Speaker. And farmers who plant cane in swampy areas, Mr. Speaker, are disadvantaged when the right time of harvesting comes. For example, if you are planting a cane in a swamp area and harvesting takes 18 months and you arrive at 18 months when it's rainy, Mr. Speaker, those cane will not be harvested until the dry spell, so that they'll come and now pull out cane because let us have a better infrastructure even in the swamp areas so that it becomes very easy. And when the right time comes, maturity comes, Mr. Speaker, these farmers get it. Mr. Speaker, it is giving us nightmares, people who come from this region where we plant cane. It's funny that you are realizing at the moment, instead of even millers upping the game in terms of price of cane farmers, they are reducing the prices. Mr. Speaker, we're not going to agree on this. We can't agree. When the price of fertilizer is skyrocketing, when the fuel is increasing because tillage of land is done by tractors, Mr. Speaker, you get a miller reducing the price. That is not going, we are not going to think about that. If we do like this, Mr. Speaker, then a farmer will be frustrated, he will run out of play, and then we shall import sugar that come in this country, and that sugar that come in, Mr. Speaker, we are not sure of its safety. Because sugar in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, produced by us, go through a law called GRAS, Mr. Speaker. GRAS is G-R-A-S, generally regarded as safe in terms of quality because we know our millers, Mr. Speaker. But sugar that will come in this country from other countries, Mr. Speaker, we cannot assure our Kenyans about cancer-causing issues. So, Mr. Speaker, to be honest, let us support a farmer. And Honorable Nablindo, you've done the best to come with this motion, and Mr. Speaker, without much ado, because we are friends who should also debate in this. I, as a member of parliament for Kabuchai, a region that is rich in sugarcane plantation, Mr. Speaker, I therefore, Mr. Speaker, with due respect and honor, I second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I'm on my feet. Who is that member walking all over behind? The speaker is on his feet. May the members who are standing take their seats because this is a bit long. Honorable members, I propose the question that aware that commercial sugarcane production in Kenya was introduced in the early years of independence with the aim of eliminating dependence on sugar importation and contribution to economic transformation in the sugar belt and the country at large through agriculture, acknowledging that at its pinnacle, the sugar industry significantly contributed to the country's national gross domestic product, GDP, and became one of the largest employers, which supported livelihoods of many Kenyans, both directly and indirectly. Concerned that over the last 25 years, sugarcane farming, particularly in Western Kenya, has been declining significantly, thereby dipping sugar production from over 600,000 metric tons per year in the 90s to less than 300,000 metric tons in recent years. Noting that the decline in sugar farming has forced local millers, Honorable Wanjala, may the members who are standing have their seats. This is very long. Or just freeze for the standing orders. Honorable Jared Okello, take your seat. Yeah, noting that the decline in sugarcane farming has forced local millers to operate far below their milling capacities and pushed the country to over-rely on net importation of sugar, which negatively impacts on the balance of trade. Noting that the decline in sugar production is attributable to factors such as mismanagement, interference, and unfair competition from cheap imported sugar. Further concerned that state-owned sugar millers like Mumia Sugar Company and Zoya Sugar Company ceased milling while owing farmers hundreds of millions of shillings. Appreciating the government has been putting in place strategies, policies, and regulations to define roles of millers and major players and stakeholders in the sugar industry in a bid to revamp the sector. Concerned that the acute shortage of sugar resulting from mass abandonment of sugarcane farming continues to roll back initiatives for reviving sugar milling, recognizing that further investment in revamping sugar companies before reviving sugar farming would occasion loss of the invested public funds instead of yielding success. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the national government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, reviews the sugar development policies to provide that every investor miller sets aside definite funds for development of sugarcane farming, incentivizes farmers to embrace sugarcane growing and to enhance sugarcane production in each of the respective zones. The Honorable Geoffrey Udanga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this motion as moved by Honorable Nabulindo. Mr. Speaker, as already noted, the sugarcane farming in many parts of the country, not only Western, because sugarcane was grown in Nyanza, Western, and even at the coast. You remember there used to be the Ramisi Sugar Factory. Was really the mainstay of the people in the regions, because people were employed in those factories. Farmers got a lot of income from those factories, and they were able to meet their daily requirements like school fees, food, and so on. Mr. Speaker, this is not a crop that we need to wish away. And the sugar farming, sugar production, and the sugar sector collapsed because the governments of the day, Mr. Speaker, were not keen. They were corrupt, they were greedy, and therefore they wanted to import sugar and sell at the expense of the sugar that was being done by our farmers. Honorable Speaker, the motion is about policy. It's about policy. The unfortunate thing is that in this country, and this has been said here very many times, is that we develop very good policies, but at the end of the day, these policies just end on gathering dust on the shelves. And from last week, I have noted that there are many, many motions in this House which were discussing policy, policy, policy. I think we need to shift and make these policies work, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is a bill before this House, the Cotton Bill, and this bill addresses quite a number of issues that will help the farmers. So Honorable Nabulindo is saying that we need to develop a policy for sugarcane development. Of course, there is an agriculture policy, Honorable Speaker, but I think it could be very, very critical that we develop a sugarcane development policy separately so that we are able to address and help both farmers and millers. We want to make a balance so that millers make profit out of their milling, and farmers also make profit out of their farming. Mr. Speaker, quite a number of the farmers put a lot of their farms under this crop. So meaning they are even left with very little for food production. The reason why a policy needs to be developed to ensure that the farmers reap the maximum so that they are able even to meet their food requirements. And one of them, Mr. Speaker, is taking up of the new varieties of sugarcane. There are several new varieties, Honorable Speaker. Last week I was talking to Dr. Omondi, the head of Calro Kisumu, and he was telling me that actually sugarcane can be grown in many, many parts of this country. If research is done, there are various and different types of or varieties of sugarcane that can be grown in different parts of the country. There are parts that you can grow sugarcane and harvest at 8 months. There are varieties that can be developed or are already developed, and in some areas they will take 10 months. In areas like Busia, he told me, there is a variety that can take up to 13, 14 months and you harvest. So, Mr. Speaker, really we need to invest heavily in research, and that is why the policy is needed, so that research is given a lot of prominence in the whole of this business, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is need to, and this is addressed already in the bill before the House, to ensure that imports are limited. Imports of sugarcane and even sugar itself, there are two things here, needs to be limited to the deficits. Mr. Speaker, currently, because the millers carry the day, we have seen situations where the farmers' sugarcane around the millers in Kenya, for instance, are left overgrowing and overmaturing in the farms, and the millers go for sugarcane that is in the neighboring countries, therefore leaving these farmers with their sugarcane, which go even up to 30 months before they are harvested. And it becomes a big, big problem, Mr. Speaker. The same to imports. In the 12th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, we were here, and we heard of importing of contaminated sugar. And this is done by traders who don't care about the Kenyan people. So all sugar cane and sugar that is imported, we need to have a policy, and this is in that bill, to ensure that we only import in when we have a deficit, and that deficit has to be determined, Honorable Speaker, before any imports are done. Honorable Speaker, the issue of zoning. In one of my master's degrees, Honorable Speaker, I researched about sugarcane farming and management in Nzoia and Mumias. And one thing that came out clearly is that we need to really have a policy on the issue of zoning because there are areas like in Transmara. A lot of sugarcane is on the farm, and yet the miller there does not want other millers from outside to come and take, yet they have the ability to crush, and that particular miller is not able to crush. So we need really a serious policy to address such like issues, Honorable Speaker, going forward. Honorable Speaker, we don't want to sensitization. Sensitization of the Kenyan people, particularly the farmers. They really need to know and to be told that even there is this new variety of sugarcane. Quite a number of farmers do not know. So they need to be sensitized and they need support. To get this support, a policy needs to be developed so that we have the millers, like in the earlier times, for those farmers who were not able to raise funds to be able to finance their farming, the miller will come in and provide support, which amount of money will be deducted when the harvest is done. So, Honorable Speaker, a lot needs to be done, like in the area of research. At the moment, all research institutions were lumped together. And I think this is a heavy task for Calro alone. We need to have a sugarcane research foundation or something like that, coffee research, all of them like it was in the year before, so that seriousness is put into research. And also we budget for it, Honorable Speaker, in this House, so that we fund enough. If we don't do that, Honorable Speaker, we are leaving this House to the dogs. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, MP for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And the Speaker, through you, probably we need to request Parliamentary Service Commission to repair microphones so that I don't have to keep on shifting. And others, you have told us to go digital using the gadget. So I hope you will be kind and gracious enough to pass over the message. Honorable Speaker,
Honorable, the message is noted by the Speaker, and the Parliamentary Service Commission is watching the proceedings.
Thank you, Honorable
So
Speaker.
action will be taken.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to sincerely thank my colleague, Honorable Navulindo, for bringing this motion to this House at this particular time. It's a timely motion, and indeed, Honorable Speaker, the history of sugarcane farming in this country is a very sad history. Indeed, it's a very, very sad history. That a country of the stature of Kenya should never have allowed it to happen. Honorable Speaker, and I've always told, and I remember President Moi, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, used to quip that siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. The politics of sugar cane, sugar merchants, sugar trade have crippled sugarcane farming in this country. Honorable Speaker, we were here in the morning when we were talking about KAIP under the county government additional allocation funds. And one of the key areas we raised, and Dr. Mtunga clearly prosecuted it, that unless we focus on the production of the raw material, all these edifices, all these structures, all these industrial parks we are putting up, Honorable Speaker, will become what I called white elephant. Because we are forgetting the people who generate the raw material, Honorable Speaker. You cannot talk about the end product if you do not invest in the production of the raw material. Honorable Speaker, every election cycle, sugarcane and sugarcane farmers have been the pawns in all election campaigns. And it's even reported, Honorable Speaker, quite a number of politicians have never wanted those sugarcane millers to be operational, especially publicly funded ones. Because every single election cycle, Honorable Speaker, there is always an avenue to raise funds for campaigns. We keep on ignoring the farmer. We keep on forgetting the farmer. And that's why the plea by Honorable Lavlindo contained the motion should move the powers that be to ensure that we concentrate on the farmer. Honorable Speaker, what do we do with the farmer? He has lamented the farmers are abandoning sugarcane farming. But any rational person will not continue investing his time, efforts, and money where the returns are negative. None. Even the madman in the villages will never agree to stay in a market center where he cannot get a source of livelihood. We'll move to the next. So, rationality. Honorable Speaker, in land economics, we have the principle of highest and best use, where any landowner will only commit that particular land where he's going to get the highest returns. Sugarcane over the time, because of mismanagement of the sugar milling factories, is no longer a highest best return for even half an acre of land in Mumias. Why plant? Wait for 24 months, you supply, you wait for 36 months to be paid. How do you eat? How do you pay your medical covers? How do you pay your school fees? How do you entertain yourself? How do you feed your family? And how do you increase your household if you have no source of income? Because you have tied in your investment in sugarcane that's not likely to be paid in the nearest future. Honorable Speaker, has there been any incentives accorded to the farmers? The answer has been zero. We came here, Honorable Speaker, last year. We made some amendments. We moved some motion to allow the Treasury pay some sugar factories some money. Where did that money go to? Honorable Speaker, writing off pending taxes. Who benefits? The sugar millers. The farmer is ignored. We said we'll pay the farmers. They were fourth and fifth priority. I'm sure Honorable Lavlindo will tell us whether those are in the Mumia sugar belt. Even yourself I have seen Jared Okello here. I've not seen the Wendo sugar belt what the farmers paid outstanding dues. You would find, Honorable Speaker, probably not. They were just taken. So the spirit, poor management at the tail end, because of the adverse weather conditions, Honorable Speaker, this country must walk the talk. We are very good in political platitudes. We are very good when we are given microphones all over. We keep on promising what we can't do. We ignore the people who make us what we are. Honorable Speaker, we used to have KESREF, Kenya Sugar Industry Research Foundation, that was headquartered in Kibos. When the AFA Act came, all of them were collapsed. So they have the dedicated research institution that will produce, that give us sugarcane varieties that are all maturing, that have got high sucrose content, was all abandoned. Yet, Honorable Speaker, we have a full-fledged Ministry of Agriculture at the national level. We have all the two small governments the 47 to small governments, have got a huge budget for cultural extension officers, for agriculture. Yet, all that money only goes paying personal emolument, nothing goes to developing, supporting the farmer. Honorable Speaker, it is time we must relook at these things completely differently. And I hope our experts from ODM who have gone to assist, when they were unable to work, will at least inject some vibrance and some new approach. And Honorable Speaker, we want to ask the appointed powers that be, the docket of agriculture should be given to those people who understand these things, Honorable Speaker. It's the sugarcane sector to expand. We just hope now the bill, the sugar development bill that we have passed, and I want to implore upon Senate that we have made amendments here, we'll have to go for mediation. I want to implore upon Senate that they need to go beyond pettiness and allow us to process this sugar bill into an act of parliament as soon as practically possible. We have spoken about sugarcane farming. The governors in the sugar belt areas have had endless conferences in high-cost hotels, ignoring the farmer who suffers the most. Honorable Speaker, where I come from, we have Busia Sugar Factory that is domiciled in Honamodanga's constituency, and they have leased a whole chunk of land along the swamps to basically grow sugarcane. They have leased, so that means the small-scale farmer is no longer being given consideration. The model is changing. Come and lease idle land, parcels of land, amalgamate all of them, and allow to divest.
Yes, your time is up, Dr. Wilberforce Oundo. I'll give you 1 minute to support. The technology you mentioned, honorable members, I'm warning you that the lights you are used to are not working.
You see? So I was not alerted. So in that score, Honorable Speaker, I support, and I would probably also expand that we also bond the county governments to invest in sugarcane production. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the motion.
Yes, we will have Honorable Abdul Rahim Dawood to be followed by Honorable Adan Kainan, because
the top producers of sugarcane is Brazil at 38%, India at 22 or 23%, and then we come down. But Mr. Speaker, we started sugarcane farming in 1922 when Kibos and Miwani sugar was established by the government, and that was so early in 1922, Miwani and Kibos. Thereafter, the government established Chemelil Sugar, 1968, Mumias, 1973, South Nyanza, 1979, Muhoroni, 1966, Nzoia, 1978, Kibos, 2007, Transmara, 2011, Sukari, 2012, and others which have come on board. But, Mr. Speaker, the issue is not on the factories which are there. The issue is regarding the farmers, because farmers can produce. At the moment, the average is 74 tons per hectare. That is the average. But some places you can even get up to 200 tons for an hectare. And the cost per acre for producing sugarcane is between about 210,000 shillings to 280,000. Profits would be about 70 to 130,000. And Mr. Speaker, when the mover, together with my other colleagues who have talked about it, it takes about a year or more to harvest the cane. And I wonder if it is 70,000 or 100,000, which the farmer is expecting after a year of hard work, what is left? What is he left with all year round? And even if that money does not come in, where does he stand? He becomes destitute, he or she becomes destitute, our farmer. So we need to put in place better measures of how the farmer is going to be paid. Last year, Honorable Wangwe, Emmanuel Wangwe, he brought a bill, sugar development bill, the one Honorable Oundo has talked about, and it was very progressive. But unfortunately, it has still not been put into place, and I hope once it puts into place, our sugarcane farmers can get what they deserve. We need to do away with the sugar barons, because what is happening is, I think it is the sugar barons which really affect us. They would not want our sugarcane farmers to go up, the factories to work. We have, when I was in the Committee of Finance, I remember bailing out Mumias twice or thrice, 500 million to go and pay off the farmers. But unfortunately, that money has never gotten to the farmers. So what happens is the people lose faith. The other day, I was reading in the press that the farmers are complaining the price of cane has gone down. So once the price of cane goes down, how do you expect that farmer to now go and plant again sugarcane? Mr. Speaker, the same thing happened to us in the mountain region where we had coffee. In the 70s and 80s, our coffee was black gold. And what happened was our prices went down. It was broken up. So our farmers lost, and we have never recovered. We have never recovered the coffee boom of the 70s and 80s. And I think there is somebody somewhere who is messing up. Mr. Speaker, governors, if it is the governors now, because it is devolved agriculture, we need to put the governors on the block so that we know what they are doing about the sugarcane farming and all the other agriculture products. Because if we do not take hold of it, we will become a dependent country on sugarcane, whereas we can produce sugarcane. Mr. Speaker, we should, the sugarcane which we import, the Ministry of Agriculture should limit, do quotas so that we do not get imported sugar, so we produce our own sugar. Because at the end of the day, what will happen is we will kill our sugar industry, and sugar is not just in Western Kenya, it's even in Nyanza. South Nyanza has got sugar. Coast has got sugar. And I encourage our mountain farmers as well to look at ways how we can even grow sugar, because sugar, if one day the Western and Nyanza regions refuse to give us sugar, I don't know where we will go for sugar. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge what Honorable Nabolindo is doing, but he needs to go further, because it's not enough just policy and funding. We need to see how we are going to encourage and give the right funds to our farmers, because if we do not, and it is not just for sugar, it is for tea, it is for coffee, it is for pyrethrum, for cotton, for everything, because our farmers are the backbone of this country, and agriculture being our backbone and the GDP, we need to work our way out. So with those few remarks, I wish to support Honorable Nabolindo, but we need to go further and pay our farmers, all farmers, not just sugarcane, all farmers. And if there is a waiver, Honorable Speaker, we hear of waivers in the sugarcane industry, and day in, day out, we are getting waivers. We need those waivers even in the tea industry. We need those waivers even in the coffee industry, because it cannot be that only one region can be getting waivers where the other regions are not. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate it.
Honorable Adan Kenan, MP for Elders.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the paradox in our country is where we have reached a stage where even leaders who are entrusted with the leadership of this country have reduced their role to just lamentations. Mr. Speaker, when I've looked at this motion is good for an MP who is seeking to be popular, a populist. But practically speaking, This is not the route. I appreciate what Dr. Molindo has done. But the era of bringing motions alone just to come and lament on the floor of the House is gone. It doesn't add any value. What the sugarcane farmers require is the passage of the sugar bill. Mr. Speaker, over the years, we have reduced our role as members of parliament simply because we fear to confront the cartels. The problem afflicting the sugarcane farmers, just like the other productive sectors, are the cartels. The cartels are not interested in expanding our GDP. The cartels are not interested in our economic growth. The cartels are not interested in reducing our trade deficit. The cartels are not interested in improving our foreign exchange reserves. The cartels are only interested in filling their pockets. Whose role is it to diminish their role? It is the role of the leadership here. Through legislations and through putting pressures actually on those who are tasked with the executive mandate. Mr. Speaker, I don't foresee a time when we will not need sugar. I don't foresee a time when Kenya will not be part of the global village. But we must reflect. This country was once a promising nation in the 60s when we got our independence. Today, we are at the mercy of cartels. We have been reduced to an importing nation, Mr. Speaker. We have been here. We have seen many members of parliament to come and bring motions here, lament about their sector. Mr. Speaker, I always give an example of KMC. Once upon a time, KMC was a giant meat processing facility in the entire East African region. Today, it's a shell. The very institutions that we have invested in Botswana, in other countries, are the ones that are leading now in beef export. KMC is struggling. Year in, year out, we are asked to facilitate, to bring funds, to bring it up. The same applies to the sugarcane. The other day, I thought once and for all, when I've had the system, I saw a newsprint that the entire millers, their external debts were forgiven. I thought that would have given you a new platform, or would have given us a new platform to bring up some of these millers. You need to ask ourselves one question. How comes the private millers are doing well and the government millers are always not functioning? Simply because of the cartels. The cartels don't want this sector to flourish. So my colleagues from the Western region and the Nyanza region, is it a time that we put our foot down and say we can no longer be lamenting? And we'll lend you all the support, because where I come from, sugar is a necessity. In fact, in my community, they say it is better you die when you are taking a sweet thing than, sugar is so critical in our lifestyle. But Mr. Speaker, what is our role? So I want to urge my colleagues here from the Western region, and we'll come in a big way. How can we minimize the role of these cartels? They will be there. And I can tell you, most of the rich guys in these countries have made their money through sugar deals, including politicians. I didn't qualify. I say most of the rich guys have made their monies through sugar deals. In fact, one of the most lucrative certificates to land on is a sugar importation, duty-free sugar facility. And you know it. They are in your villages. They are in Nairobi. They are all over. So, Dr. Molindo and cohorts and friends, I empathize with those poor farmers. We are giving them lip service. What they require is not lip service. What they require are practical solutions tailor-made to uplift them from abject poverty. And that is not a mean achievement. Mr. Speaker, over the years, Kenya is a member of COMESA, and I've had the privilege of visiting Zambia, which is the headquarters of COMESA. Mr. Speaker, you go to Egypt, you go to Brazil, you'll be surprised today that if you go to, notwithstanding the current security challenges in Sudan, Sudan was a leading exporter of sugar. If you do a further investigation and even go to our neighbor here, Uganda, you'll find that some of these things, the way it is done, it's done in such a way that countries that have promising sugar farmers don't reach that level of reducing their sugar import. So, Mr. Speaker, instead of asking for somebody from Western region to be the CS Agriculture, there have been many. Get the list. Since independence, there have been many members, many senior individuals from Western region who have been ministers for agriculture. That has not added any value. It's just an individual gain. So, Mr. Speaker, my contribution on this particular sector is, can we find a solution? First of all, we pass that bill. I know sometimes there is a bit of jurisdictional conflict between the Senate and the National Assembly. But when an issue touches on the lives of the people of Kenya, then politics aside, we do not have any jurisdictional conflict with the Senate. Their work is to legislate, our work is to legislate. If anything, we should be complementary. So we need to pass that bill as a matter of urgency. If there are administrative issues between the two houses, it will be sorted out as a matter of urgency. Once that bill is passed, and I'm sure His Excellency will assent to it, then we need to go back to the drawing board and say, how can we bring back to the fold giant sugar milling institutions like Mumias? Once that is done, the role of the sugar canpreneur or the sugarpreneur will have been reduced. Mr. Speaker, over the years, we have also known, you are a lawyer, we have over-legislated. We do not even need some of these legislations. We only need a proper policy pronouncement. At the level of the CS, at the level of those who are in charge of this particular sector. Once that is done, we'll save our farmers. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, where I come from, I'm a camel herder. The only source of import where I can take my camels is either through Djibouti or through Ethiopia or through Somalia. What has happened to the camel market here? It's simply because particular cartels don't want it to flourish. Just like they killed KMC, just like they killed Mumia Sugar, just like they do not want any sector to, because that's their business. But is that our business as elected representative of the people of Kenya? Our business is to represent our people in every aspect. We have failed miserably also as members of parliament. It's the high time that we interrogate, and instead of just being used as a conveyor belt, as a speaker. We passed many things. Conveyor belt, we have passed. Then what is the end result? This country was once a promising nation that was almost on the edge of joining the League of Developing Nations, Mr. Speaker. Today, we have been reduced to a struggling nation. The only news that comes out of this country is bad news. Is that in our interest during our time when we are the leaders who have been entrusted with the leadership of this country pursuant to Article 1 of the Constitution? Mr. Speaker, it is the high time that even we members of parliament here, we need to go back to the drawing board. Every sector in this country is failing. Whose responsibility is it? It's our responsibility, because to be an elected member of parliament representative is the most sought after job in this country. And by extension, it's the most lucrative. So it's the high time that we put aside our privileges and say, whatever we have been doing has not been adding value to the well-being of the people of Kenya. And we want to start with the sugar cartels. I want to volunteer and join you in reducing their influence, in eradicating their presence, and making sure that the sugarcane farmers are freed from these cartels. But show us the way. Show us the way. For us, we are still struggling. In my conscience, I'm still struggling to have the first kilometer of tarmac road. 60 years after independence. And sometimes when you see certain things that we call them affirmative action, you just need to empathize with us. That's why sometimes I say, and we have been around with you, we got our independence in August 2010 when we promulgated this August 2010 Constitution. That's the time when we got our independence. And I'm not joking. It's the truth. So I want to ask my friend here, the mover of this motion. We have heard you. The message is clear. It is loud. This message has been there since independence. This is not what we require. Can we canvass, can we cajole our friends in the Senate to have that bill, deal with the issues, pass that bill, and we confront these guys? But I thank you for the initiative, and I'm sure your farmers there and your constituents there will have heard you. We need to create, Mr. Speaker, this is my party shot. One of the roles, it's not the role, but one of the things that politicians actually aspire to have is to have to create followers, just like the Honorable Odinga. You know what many people don't know is the Honorable Odinga has followers. Most of us have supporters. Mr. Speaker, if really we want to succeed in this,
You have not more than 45 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to appeal to my friend from the sugarcane belt farmers that if you want to have followers like Honorable Odinga, can you today resolve that we'll deal with cartel so that you can stay in parliament so that your people will also appreciate your contribution? I support.
The Honorable Jared Okello.
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kenan Adan, you got 45 minutes addition because of that name you mentioned.
It comes with an incentive. Honorable Speaker, besides coming from the sugar belt, I also belong to the Agriculture Committee. And the challenges that abound within the sugar sector cannot properly be gainsaid. It is important to note, Honorable Speaker, that during the last regime, a task force was formed by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, which was co-chaired by Honorable Ambetsa Oparanya and the then Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture, Honorable Peter Munya. In the task force was the Kisumu Governor, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, amongst a host of many others. And Honorable Speaker, the main idea was to carry out an introspection around the challenges within the sugar sector. Honorable Speaker, one of the fruits that have since been borne by the task force is the sugar bill, which has passed both this House and the Senate. And at the moment, Honorable Speaker, the mediation team is yet to be formed to thrash out the discordance that emerged from the process. And Honorable Speaker, it is true that the sugar sector, even though a white gold, has continued to go through headwinds. Honorable Speaker, it is disturbing that whereas the government-owned sugar companies are experiencing lots of problems, there continues to be mushrooming private sugar mills, Honorable Speaker. And interestingly, those private sugar companies are performing very well, while the government-owned sugar companies perform dismally. So there must be a problem with the management. As a committee of agriculture, we have carried out a series of visitations within the sugar companies with a view to collect facts that surround the challenges that they experience. Honorable Speaker, under a fortnight ago, I accompanied the permanent secretary in charge of agriculture, Dr. Kiprono Rono, to a visit, a fact-finding mission visit in Chemelil Sugar and Muhoroni, Honorable Speaker. And we noted that the machines are dilapidated. Just as has been said on when these machines were set up, Honorable Speaker, nothing substantial in terms of maintenance has since been done. So the spillages of the sugarcane juice, Honorable Speaker, that therefore creates immense losses to these companies, will always continue to be there. Honorable Speaker, it is high time that we invested heavily on overhauling these machines so that they can be proactive to the plight of the farmer and be responsible to the needs of the market, Honorable Speaker. If that can be done, that new machines can be availed, because the ones that we have are quite rickety in nature, then our country can start to reap the benefits that come with sugarcane, Honorable Speaker. Some of these companies actually struggle to break even. So a classical example of these sugar companies owned by the government, Honorable Speaker, is the fact that some of the employees haven't been paid for 59 months. 59. And you had farmers whose arrears had gone up to 1.2 billion shillings. But I'm happy that a month ago, the government was able to clear all the outstanding arrears that have been accruing owed to the farmers, Honorable Speaker. The last batch of that payment was 354 million that was paid to our farmers under 3 weeks ago. And that is a good step into the right direction. But the question is, if the farmers haven't been paid that much, and the employees plugged into these sugar companies haven't been paid for the last 60 months, and these companies have continued to be in operation, what happens to the monies? What happens to the sales of sugar? So there is a problem somewhere, Honorable Speaker. But we also know that sugar and oil during campaigning seasons would always be the lowest hanging fruit by crooked governments to make cheap money. And that is why they constantly come up with duty-free sugar, so that as they import sugar that attracts no taxes, they sell them for the same prevailing market price into the market and make gigantic profits out of it, Honorable Speaker. Yet, again, that kind of action kills our sugar sector here at home. So we are so happy to propagate the benefits of sugar industries across our borders when our own are dying here, Honorable Speaker. And it is a travesty that needs to be properly tackled, Honorable Speaker. I hope that the Senate Speaker, together with the Speaker of the National Assembly, will move with speed to concoct the mediation team so that within a very short period of time, these issues can be thrashed out and an act can be attained that will now try to look at the sugar sector in general. Honorable Speaker, sugarcane farming is a labor-intensive exercise. And again, people take their sugarcane to these factories but have to wait forever in order to be paid. It is not right. And that is why many people started uprooting the sugarcane from their farms, because it attracts no benefits at all to these farmers, Honorable Speaker. Now, a lot has already been spoken to on the arrears accruing to the employees, Honorable Speaker. It is an absurdity that there are many employees within the sugar industries that have since retired and were given residential estates within the sugarcane companies, Honorable Speaker. Now, they cannot exit because they have no money to go home with. Some of them have started falling ill because as people age, lifestyle illnesses also creep in. So you have a sick populace, you have people who cannot take their children to school and cannot even afford a meal and are still occupying houses of these companies. It is a tragedy of our time, Honorable Speaker. I have seen lots of efforts being directed towards coffee and tea. And each time we come up with those budget lines, you see a lot of money going into this particular sector. Is it because of what we had during Moi's time that siasambaya maishambaya, and our areas where sugarcane farming has been at the center stage has continued to be neglected, Honorable Speaker? And therefore, I hope with a broad-based something that even the sugar sector will be paid a lot of attention and credence, that at the end of the day, we, just like coffee and tea farmers, will also enjoy the benefits that come from the government, Honorable Speaker. And with those remarks, I thank you for the opportunity.
The Honorable Jane Kiara, to be followed by the Honorable Karoli Omondi. Why do some members believe the Honorable Jane Kiara can only talk about coffee, tea, and fish from Lake Naivasha?
In fact, we don't have coffee and we don't have tea in Naivasha. We only have cabbage and onion. Mr. Speaker, much as I grew up in a region where we don't have sugar or sugar cane, on the onset, I want to support this motion because any serious government that is thinking of raising the economy of this country through farming has to address sugarcane farming. Mr. Speaker, like has been said here, sugarcane farming, I grew up in a place where we didn't have sugar, or rather sugarcane. It was in small scale, and where it grew, I always thought it was for squeezing that juice to make Muratina. Mr. Speaker, where I grew up, there was a manual squeezing facility where young boys used to go and push that rod so that they are given a few coins when they produce the juice. I knew sugar, yes, but I didn't know where it came from. Because all I knew all along is that this is for Muratina making. I came to know about the factories. In my last job, I was working for a company that was selling fertilizer. So that's the time I knew there were so many milling facilities, the Sones, the Nzoias, the Mumias, the Kibos, and Chemil Mill, all those were my customers. Then that's the time I realized this thing is real. There is sugar. I always used to see the sugar in my sugar dish, and I didn't care where it came from. I visited Honorable Beatrice Wambilyanga's place in our campaign trails. We passed through Nzoia, and I saw a big, big facility that was unoperational, just a deficit. It's actually killing the industry. So what the policy that we need is, like Mheshimiwa has said here, is that imports of sugar has to be controlled to address the deficit only. And the producers of sugar are the only ones who can tell. If we say that these factories or these millers are the ones who know where the deficit is, and they're allowed to import. We have seen corruption. We have seen imported sugar being repackaged in Mumia's bags. So what is eating this industry and this country is actually corruption. Corruption is real, and any government that comes to power tells us they are going to fight corruption, yet if you want to be rich, like Honorable Kenan has said, you go looking for license to import sugar. That is why we deny our farmers their income, the jobs for our youth, and everything that needs. Mr. Speaker, joblessness is real. And we cannot kill our farming industries pretending that farming is a backbone of our economy. We should be working towards actually exporting sugar. That is the only time we can make sense in matters sugar. So I will not have much to say because we know the selfish sugar barons, and they get licenses from the government. So is the government really interested in fighting corruption if we don't want to address it through revamping farming, maybe coffee, maybe what. Otherwise, we have to work and support this motion and be real in all farming matters, that it's not just fertilizer. We are giving fertilizer, yes. We have grown these crops, yes. What happens to them? Who are there? Instead of sending our children out there, we can send them back home. As long as farming is making sense, I support.
Honorable Karoli Omondi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'll try and be brief because I have two of my sisters here who also want to contribute. First, let me begin by telling a story. When sugar was first introduced in this country, it was at the City Stadium, and Africans would be called on a Saturday and forced to take sugar. because we didn't know what sugar was. That is how it was introduced. They would be put on a queue, given free sugar, and caned to take it. That was in the 1920s. After that, the first sugar mill in this country, which was Miwani, was actually started by Indian immigrants, Jamal and Mr. Indocha. What the record shows all over the world is that sugar mills that are state-owned don't work. I was in Cuba last year. The sugar industry in Cuba has collapsed. In Kenya, all the private mills are profitable. All the public mills are in distress. And it is because of politicians and people who have been in this house. We are the people who have destroyed the sugar industry in this country as politicians. So, and I've been a director in all the public sugar mills when I was a state council. So I've seen the evolution. When Miwani was privately owned, it made money. When the government acquired it, it stopped making money. So was Mumias. Yeah? If you look at the history, we have no business, the government of Kenya has no business being in the sugar sector. Even the motion, though I agree with it, we don't need to encourage the government to incentivize farmers. The private sector, if they were running the mills, they would, through extension services and through credit facilities, so that you have enough raw material for your mills. What we need to do is to divest completely as a government from the sugar industries in the Republic of Kenya and hand them over to the private sector. And there are two ways of doing this. It is not rocket science. One, we need strategic investors with the capital and the know-how to run the sugar mills. And then we need to isolate part of the shareholding and float them through the Nairobi Stock Exchange, through what is called initial public offering. So other public members can own shares in those sugar mills. And thirdly, we need to organize the outgrowers into investment groups so that they too can be shareholders of those sugar mills. We are very sensitive about the so-called nucleus estate. To me, it is lack of deep understanding of how business works. The land should not withhold the privatization of the sugar mills. It is very simple. We need to separate the mill from the outgrower nucleus. The outgrower nucleus can continue belonging to the county government, then leased to the sugar mills on a long-term basis. But the sugar mills should be 100% privatized and given out to investors so they can be modernized. We have no business having multiple sugar mills in very uneconomic areas. If you go to Brazil, sugar mills that are privately owned have their own railway stations. Even here in South Africa, if you go to KwaZulu-Natal, the mills have their own railway lines that transport the sugar. They organize the farmers, they do their own research. Government should only restrict itself to doing sugar research and regulating how the market works. But we have no business as a government being in the sugar mill. Today, the proposed privatization has stalled in court. Why? Because of politicians. Some politicians have organized themselves from Western Kenya, incited some farmers, and gone to court to stop the privatization so that they can continue stealing. There was a time we went to Nzoia Sugar. We gave 150 tractors with the former prime minister to outgrowers of Nzoia. Within months, they were vandalized. I challenge any one of you, go to any sugar mill, go to the outgrowers, go to the mills, you'll see equipment all vandalized by politicians. It's the same politicians who are also in the outgrower organizations. So we need to get rid of politicians, and the only way to do it is to privatize the mills so that farmers and investors can run their mills. We have no business being there. Mr. Speaker, let me end so that I give my colleagues time also to contribute by simply saying, let us not be beholden to traditional way of thinking, how business is conducted. We cannot, as a government, continue selling meat, selling eggs, having parastatals that do things that the private sector can do better, and we are holding on to them. It is time to let the sugar industry go to the private hands. It will make profit, but not to the current millers. When we are privatizing Miwani, Chemelil, we cannot allow Kibos Sugar to own them. When we are privatizing Nzoia, we cannot allow Butali to own them. When we are privatizing the lower mills in Transmara or in Mumias, we cannot allow the established private mills to own them, because then we will be creating monopolies and duopolies, and that we cannot do. We must allow other players to come into the sector with experience, buy the mills, and you will see a very vibrant sector. Thank you. With those few remarks, I beg to support.
Honorable Ruth Odinga came after Honorable Bensouda. Joyce and Honorable Bensouda came after Honorable Beatrice Kemei. But I like the name Ruth Odinga. I want Ruth Odinga to speak because she's a farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am very honored, and Bensouda, I'm sure that you know that in order of seniority, I have been allowed by the Speaker to speak before you. I would like to actually start off by saying that for me, I'm very radical. I believe that the sugar sector should be privatized. I am a farmer. I come from the sugar belt area. And at the moment, my farms are not actually doing any commercial sugarcane farming because there is too much cartels, number one. There's a lot of cartels. And I'll want to tell you this without fear, that when you look at the sugar sector, you find that mostly, a lot of the times, these cartels that operate are operating within the government sector. And those government sectors are the ones who actually own those sugarcane. For example, there's a time that the Kenya Sugar Board would be giving even the mills like Mumias the license to import sugar. And the Mumias would be importing the sugar, bringing it in, packaging it in Mumias sugar packages, and then selling it out. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that there was no way the local farmers who are actually dependent, the outgrowers that are dependent on Mumias sugar, would be able to actually take their sugar cane to be milled in Mumias sugar. Apart from that, remember that apart from the sugar that we're talking about, there are those byproducts like molasses. There are so many people who are dependent on molasses, even industries. Like, for example, I will give you one. Those factories that we have, Kenya had the best 2 factories who were distilling alcohol, ethanol. That is Spectre and also Moroni, what do you call, agrochemical. And those 2 sugar sectors actually, those 2 industries are actually underproducing and used to be the only ethanol producing factories in the whole of East Africa. Now, because of the lack of the byproduct molasses, which comes from the industry, from the sugar industry, we do not have, and we're not able to actually operate. Spectre International, that was employing more than 500 people, is closed down. Agrochemical is underproducing because they do not have the sugar cane. Apart from that, the other mills that are there, the private mills that are there, have decided to now open their own ethanol factories within their sugarcane area, meaning that they are denying these other companies any, whatever, the molasses that they need, the byproduct. But apart from that, number 2, why I believe in the land why I also believe it should be privatized. The other reason is that you see these small little farmers, people are not able to take their sugarcane to the farms, to the factories. Because of that, they're selling their pieces of land. So you find that there's about, the person who owned 500 acres is now, has now sold his farm so that he has about 7 other people owning 30 acres of land. And they're all taking to the factory. Now, even if you want to privatize, you must be able to consolidate these people so they can sell this land, so that the company that is coming, the private company that is coming, is able to buy all that land and be able to produce. Otherwise, with these small farms that are around, now, because of the fact that, I mean, even me right now, I want to sell my farm because I have nothing to do with it. I probably will not get anybody to sell land to of 500 acres. maybe only somebody for 100, 100, 100. Once we are doing that, we are removing ourselves further from actually being able to consolidate and sell to the private companies. I therefore still believe that privatization is the best way because of the cartels in the government. And you can see that all these other these private, what do you call them, sugar mills, are the ones that, even as I'm speaking to you, Kibos, what's the other one that is privatized? Kibos and, Butali, Kibos and all, are the ones that are taking all the sugar cane that are within Moroni, within our own nuclear farms, and they're using them to be able to mill. Therefore, there's no way these factories of ours, even if you told them they can't compete with the private sugar millers.
Yes, Honorable, Honorable Ruth Odinga. Honorable Ruth Odinga, you will have 6 minutes, and this motion will come back to the House, and you will be the first to speak when it is mentioned. The Honorable Beatrice Kemei and the Honorable Bensouda and all members listening to you know why I made the right decision to skip the line for you and to recognize you before them. Honorable members, the time being 1:03 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 14th day of August 2024 at 2:30 p.m.
Provides that every person has a right to the highest standard of health, that is including the right to healthcare services. And it's aware that is a key determinant of overall health and social economic, while recognizing that Article 210 of our Constitution assigns the national government of the matters of health policy. According to the World Health Organization, mental health disorders, 10% of the global population suffer from at least one mental health at any given point. So it's a concern that these units are not available or are only available in very few facilities in the 47 county constituencies of our country, and thus our patients that are requiring limited or no access completely to these facilities. that access to healthcare facilities would lead to an improved in our country or quality of life for the people. The house that is through the National of Health to collaborate to develop a policy integrating mental health services, healthcare facilities in our country. This motion, Mishimboko, the Likoni Member of Parliament, the question is set to be this morning. We have also the policy funding for sugarcane farming in the country. This is motion number 24, brought by Matungu Constituency Member of Parliament, that is Honorable Ndo. And commercial sugarcane production in Kenya was introduced independence with the aim of eliminating dependence on sugar importation, country's transformation in sugar belt and country at large through the agriculture. And the country at large, we are significantly depending on agriculture. See that there's a dip in sugarcane production for over 600,000 metric to now 300,000 metric tons. The speaker of today's session has arrived for the session that is expected. Let's listen in.
Honorable members, let us pray. Who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliament, affair of society and just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor, please to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here. We treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country committed to our charge. Amen. I order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes for the purpose of quorum.
And having not achieved quorum pursuant to standing order for the commencement of today's session, the Speaker of the Day, Nyamai Rachel, who doubles up as Kitui South Member of Parliament, who sits at the panel, has ordered the bell to be rung for 10 minutes to allow members of Parliament to walk into this incredible session, today being Wednesday, allocated for business.